What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So we got some very, very interesting news. As promoter manager of undefeated, newly crowned, unified lightweight world champion Australian star boxer George Kambosos Jr., who is 20 wins, no losses, no draws, 10 wins by way of knockout, 28 years of age, stands at 5'9", with a 70-inch arm reach. George Kambosos Jr., he shocked the world November 27th when he defeated former unified lightweight world champion superstar boxer Teofimo Lopez via split decision. With that said, George Kambosos Jr. has become a hot commodity, and according to his promoter and manager Lou DiBella, they are now, first they were shopping their services to begin with. After he won the belt, the lightweight division was on full display for 4 straight weeks, okay? Starting with his fight with Teofimo Lopez. Then the next weekend, you had undefeated WBC lightweight world champion superstar boxer Devin "The Dream" Haney, who is 27 wins now, no loss, no draws, 15 wins by way of knockout, 23 years of age, 5'8", with a 72-inch arm reach. He took on former IBF super featherweight world champion Mexican superstar boxer Joseph Jojo Diaz, in which Devin Haney, he won a unanimous decision victory over Joseph Jojo Diaz, okay? That took place Saturday. And then you had on Sunday, December 5th, you had undefeated 3-division world champion superstar boxer Gervonta Tank Davis on full display as he took on Mexican star boxer Isaac Pitbull Cruz and he won via unanimous decision. Well, in the meantime, George Kambosos Jr. was shopping his services and essentially to the highest bidder, in which George Kambosos Jr., he was stating that he wanted to face off against, the best opposition that's going to bring the most exciting fight to the table, okay? And so, he was present. He attended Devin Haney's fight with, Joseph Diaz. He attended Tank fight with Isaac Cruz, in which he stated that, he liked the entertainment value that Isaac Cruz brought to the table, and he actually thought Isaac Cruz won the victor of the fight. And he said that Devin Haney was the more exciting fighter, and we know that him versus Devin Haney would officially be for undisputed, okay, because he's the unified champ. Devin Haney holds the last piece of the puzzle between that stands in the way of him being undisputed and solidifying his career, okay, and his legacy. So with that said, so he stated that he wanted, he wanted his services to go to the highest bidder, right, to the more entertaining fight. But again, like we already know, Devin Haney stands between him and history, him and legacy, okay? He stated that it's not about the money, it's about the legacy. Then another fighter was on display immediately following that fight, December 11th, is two-time Olympic gold medalist, former 3-division world champion, former unified lightweight world champion, superstar boxer from Ukraine, Vasily Lomachenko, who, ironically enough, lost his titles to Teofimo Lopez. So then George Kambosos Jr., he takes the titles from Teofimo Lopez, who took the titles from Vasily Lomachenko. Now, he was on display against another guy Teofimo Lopez beat in Richard Comey, okay? And so with that said, Vasily Lomachenko, he got victory over Richard Comey. But prior to the fight even taking place, George Kambosos Jr. and his team was stating that they were looking forward to fighting Vasily Lomachenko in their next fight, okay? Which prompted the fans and Devin Haney to, be disappointed, because you want to see Devin Haney versus George Kambosos Jr. for official undisputed, okay? We want history to be made. You want to see the best fight the best. Not that Lomachenko is not one of the best, but you want history on the side, on the line, okay? And also, George Kambosos Jr., he stated he wanted to fight his next fight in Australia. Well, Devin Haney, he obliged that, okay? He said he had no problem with going to Australia and facing off against George Kambosos Jr. So it should just be easy to make, right? But George Kambosos Jr. and his team seemed like they were heading in the direction of fighting Lomachenko. And George Kambosos Jr., he stated he can't wait to fight Vasyl Lomachenko because he likes the direction and the plan that Lomachenko has. Okay, so with that said, now you look at it from this standpoint and you say to yourself, you got to look at it and say to yourself from this standpoint, that George Kambosos Jr. may have already had a plan in place with Lou DiBella, who has vested interest in Richard Commey, and that's his fighter, and they have a good relationship with top-ranked ESPN legendary promoter Bob Arum. Okay, so it seems like that was the plan. There is no plan. As we know, Bob Arum, he stated that they already promised Lomachenko the winner. They already promised Lomachenko an opportunity to fight George Kambosos Jr. for the belts, to an opportunity to regain his title. So it seems like they already had a plan in place to make this fight happen, and George Kambosos Jr. was just doing his due diligence. Now we know also Lou DiBella was on the Bostonoids with the brother Nestor Gibbs, and Lou DiBella, he stated that Devin Haney, he completely dismissed Devin Haney and stated that Devin Haney was an email champion. He stated that their number one objective was to secure a fight with Gervonta Tank Davis. They had to look into the opportunity and the possibility of fighting Lomachenko versus Commey winner. There's vested interest there. But when I asked George Kambosos Jr. himself what he thought about that, George Kambosos Jr., he stated that he's the boss, not Lou DiBella. He makes the decision, not Lou DiBella. Well, it looks like Lou DiBella is, at the end of the day, making the decisions for George Kambosos Jr. And now, like Bob Arum said, Lomachenko was promised the opportunity to face off against George Kambosos Jr. Okay, and now Lou DiBella is changing his tune. Okay, and now they're stating that they would much rather allow the WBO, World Boxing Organization, in which that's the belt that Vasyl Lomachenko fought for the interim WBO title, and he would wait for them to mandate that Lomachenko fight George Kambosos Jr. now, opposed to just start to begin negotiating. And he stated that now that gives them wiggle room to fight Devin Haney. Okay, so he's making it as if they were going in the direction of fighting Lomachenko because they didn't have a choice, because Vasyl Lomachenko is the mandatory. Okay, as if the WBO was ordering it and they didn't have a choice but to fight Vasyl Lomachenko. That's why they were going in that direction. But now they would much rather just wait till the WBO order the fight, and they want to fight now Devin Haney. Okay, so now, as long as it's lucrative. So here's what I believe. We know Devin Haney is his own boss. He has DHP Promotions, Devin Haney Promotions, with his father, trainer, manager Bill Haney. And they work with Matchroom CEO and promoter Eddie Hearn. And they do deals, and they have showcased their talents on DAZN. They have a partnership with DAZN. But Devin Haney's able and willing to fight on any network and move around as he so chooses. Okay, again, he's a network promotional free agent. His only obligation is to himself and his own promotional company. But he'll take his talents to wherever is so needed to get the fights done. And so now I believe that this is a situation where they want to squeeze out Devin Haney and Eddie Hearn, right? They want to get as much money out of Devin Haney and Eddie Hearn as possible. And now they're looking to squeeze them out because Lou DiBella is saying that they'll fight whomever before they fight Lomachenko as long as it's lucrative. Well, you're going to get your biggest payday against Devin Haney with DHP Promotions and DAZN. We know this. We know Eddie Hearn has no issue with shelling out the money necessary to make these big fights. Okay, we know that Devin Haney is the biggest draw junior welterweight on down, not named Gervonta Tank Davis, okay? And we know that the zone does not mind giving Eddie Hearn the necessary resources he needs to finalize these big fights, okay? So not only is he going to get a massive payday, but he's going to get an opportunity at a legacy showdown as well, right? So it's going to be a legacy fight for him as well as a massive payday, okay? So he's going to get the biggest payday of his career. And not to mention, George Kambosos Jr. just did business. Lou DiBella just did business with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom and DAZN to fight Teofimo Lopez because they went to the second highest bidder after Triller fell out. So we know that we know that Eddie Hearn is going to one up whatever he gave George Kambosos Jr. for the Teofimo Lopez fight, okay? We know it's going to be lucrative. And so with that said, he gets the opportunity for legacy and the biggest payday of his career. And as I stated, right, so now they're saying that they'll wait till the WBO orders it. The WBO orders it. Well, I wonder why. Well, I don't wonder why. Because I know that Bob Arum, top rank at ESPN, they never thought highly of George Kambosos Jr. to begin with, which leads me to believe that they're not looking to pay big money for George Kambosos Jr. to face off against Vasily Lomachenko, and they're not eager to have Vasily Lomachenko go over to Australia. Now, after the fight, post-fight interview, he stated that he didn't mind going to Australia to fight George Kambosos Jr. Then the commentator, you know, they poked fun at Devin Haney. He said Devin Haney said he'll go to Jupiter to fight George Kambosos Jr. Are you willing to go further than that? And he said, oh yeah, I go higher than Devin Haney. I go higher than Devin Haney, right? But we know, again, Bob Arum is not eager to send Vasily Lomachenko over to Australia, okay? And again, Bob Arum, George Kambosos Jr. is the A side. He brings all the pieces to the puzzle to the table. Lomachenko has two fights where he got back the Richard Comey and Nakatani fight. So that was his two get-back fights. The fight against Nakatani, the fight against Richard Comey, okay? But he brings nothing else to the table. He's not a champion, and Bob Arum is not willing to pay. So we know why now the change of heart, because they're not going to get George Kambosos Jr. already looks at himself as the A side. So George Kambosos Jr., he already stated that I'm the A side, okay? I bring everything to the table. I call the shots. That's what George Kambosos Jr. said. There's no way Bob Arum is going to allow George Kambosos Jr. to be the A side, call all the shots, and Bob Arum is going to want to pay for this fight. No, they're going to want Lou DiBella as the A side to put the money up for this fight. But Lou DiBella doesn't have the finances that they're going to want to stage a Lomachenko George Kambosos Jr. fight, especially in Australia, okay? So now what happens here is that now they want to go to the next highest bidder, where they know their bread is buttered, okay? And that's with DAZN, Eddie Hearn, Matchroom, DHP Promotions, okay? They know they could get a big lucrative fight with them. They're not going to get that with Lomachenko. He's not going to get what he's looking for. See, Devin Haney don't mind obliging him and being the B side, as long as he gets the opportunity to fight for those titles, because he knows he's going to get a set $3.5 million, okay, at the very least. He with George Kambosos Jr., with Vasily Lomachenko, that's not going to be the case. They didn't even want to pay Vasily Lomachenko $3 million when he fought against Teofimo Lopez in a unification bout, okay? Let alone have Lomachenko fight against George Kambosos Jr. And be the B side, and he don't have no belts on the line. And where they going to get the money from, like Bob Arum stated. So that's the reason why suddenly they're having a change of heart and saying they'll wait till the WBO orders the fight. When the WBO orders the fight with George Kambosos Jr. and Lomachenko, right, then they get the biggest share of the pie automatically. You understand? And they don't. So it'll be a situation like Terrence Crawford and Sean Porter, okay, where it was a 60-40 split. So he automatically got. He didn't have to. Bob Arum and Top Rank and Terrence Crawford didn't have to worry about negotiations. We knew automatically what everybody was getting right off of the top, and that's what's going on here. Okay, They'd rather wait for the WBO to order Lomachenko to have to face off against, well, George Kambosos Jr. to have to face off against Lomachenko, and then automatically he'll get the 60-40 split in his favor. They don't have to worry about 50-50 and things of that nature. See, if they negotiate, Lomachenko's going to say at the least it got to be 50-50 because I'm the bigger name. So that's where this stands. So now, miraculously, they don't mind dealing with Devin Haney and making that fight happen as long as it's lucrative. We know why. That's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notification. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Raw. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
Hi, my name is Heather the Heat Hardy, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.